Well, that's what we caught this evening. It's kind of a quick evening run. That was 3 days and 5 nets. All right, guys, it's time to get after them fish. We've been net fishing for a few weeks now. This is end of February, last day of February, actually the 28th. And the video we got for you today, we're gonna be catching some buffalo. We're just getting started, and I actually just made a big catch in this net, and I took this net up. The reason being is it just got more buffalo than I can handle. And I wanted to go back over a little bit. I've put in some of the other videos how we're catching these buffalo, and I still get a lot of questions about how to set the net, what I need, materials, stuff, and it's because people aren't going back into video files and looking at some of the older videos where we talked about it. So I'm gonna go back over it. It gives us an opportunity to add to this video. There's guys out there catch a lot more fish than we do. We're literally fishing 5 nets right now. We did make a change this year. We went to commercial on our license. We also can fish more than 5 nets, or I can by myself and have those nets tagged and everything legally. So we just made the choice to go commercial. It's just gonna be easier for us. This is a 4-foot, 48-inch diameter hoop net. 2.5-inch mesh. It's actually number 15 twine in this net. I had this net made years ago. Wasn't real happy with the throats in it. I cut them out, redid the throats. Everything I tied in is number 18 twine. I personally will never, this net will catch better than number 18 twine. I personally will never go back to number 15 twine because it tears too easy. If we hit a snag or something with this, it's gonna rip a hole in it. Sometimes you hit it with a drag and you'll rip a hole in it. So I recommend, just for longevity, to go with 18 twine. If you want the net, what the deal is with catfish, they don't really care. If it looks more like a log, they'll rub and brush and go through it. Buffalo are a little different. They don't like thick stuff. So a more open mesh, like a 3-inch or 2.5, will catch buffalo better than like 1.5 inches or something like that. A lot of people have thought that for years. I think that. But you'll still catch a lot of catfish in a bigger mesh net too. And it doesn't, the reason I like to fish a bigger mesh net in the river, I may not catch as much fish as like 1.5 inches, but when you get fresh water and the leaves come down the river, they don't cake up in them as bad, and the current doesn't push down on a bigger mesh as bad, so it's not as hard to pull up. And me getting a little older and all that, I don't want to throw my back out. I've got a decent back, ain't never had no surgeries, and I don't want to have none. But I'm gonna show you right now, in our river systems, it doesn't matter what creek or river you're in either. If you've got catfish and you've got buffalo, in the wintertime, a lot of people don't catch a lot of fish. You can if you get your nets on them. So what happens in the rivers, a lot of times you got a lot of current and them fish are up in that current a little bit. They're not necessarily down on the bottom. We all together again proved that again in the last couple weeks by putting some on bottom, putting some on top, and literally hardly caught nothing in the ones on bottom because catfish aren't running on the bottom real good yet. And we caught actually even more catfish in the ones that were swinging up high in the water column than we did on the ones that were anchored. So I was going to show you this setup. We put a bridle on here. You're not pulling on this net, so a bridle isn't going to bow the hooks as long as you don't have jugs on here. And I've went over that in some of the other videos. You'll see some guys' hoops is warped. That's because they've got jugs or something, and it's constantly got to pull on those hooks, and it'll warp them. And it makes your net fish different, funny, not right. It won't pull as tight. All these hooks are in pretty good shape. They're not warped, and it's because we either put a small weight on the end and drop it in so there's not a lot of current pushing on it, or we just tie them up under the edge of the water to a bush somewhere. But on the front, on the headline, if you're going to swing this net, you're actually not pulling this net out. I call it swinging, but you're really not swinging it. This net is just literally fishing and the current's holding it open just like that. You could not even put a headline on and this net would catch. On the tail end, I fish between 40 and 50 foot of rope. Normally, if you're right in the edge of good current, 40 to 50 foot to me, you might could even shorten up to 35. It's going to fish that net 5 to 10 foot under the surface, and that seems to be where I catch a lot of fish. Buffalo go to running, you better be ready for some work if you're fishing for buffalo, because you're going to probably load up with them. You know, and if you're commercial and you can find a market for buffalo, more power to you, because you're talking about a lot of weight and a lot of work, and getting them in the boat, you better have some help with you. A lot of guys out there that fish buffalo know that all too well. But like I said, on the headline, it doesn't matter how much rope. If I'm dragging my headlines up, I like to put about 50 foot, just makes it easier to drag. If not, I just need enough to pull right over to some trees over here beside me and tie it up to where I can go back, untie it, pull the rope up, pull the head of the net up, and get it in the boat. Y'all can see right here, the front throat on these nets is pretty open. A big fish will just go right in there and never hesitate. Once he gets in there, swims around a little bit, turns back this way, bumps that throat, he'll shoot right through that second one. That second one is tight enough that it'll keep a lot of fish from coming back out, and it's big enough you'll still catch a lot of buffalo and stuff in this net. If that second throat was open, I'd probably catch a little more open. I'd probably catch more buffalo. But we'd probably have so much buffalo you couldn't get the net in the boat. And I'm not interested in catching that much. This was actually built for catfish, to catch flatheads. I just use it a lot to catch buffalo. We're fixing to build some 3 foot net. We're fixing to build some 3-inch mesh buffalo nets and do some videos on those. I've already got the material, so pretty excited about that. We'll let y'all follow along on that. But this is a catching net. You're gonna see it in some upcoming videos, slam full. See Oakley running around like a crazy dog that she is too, a little bit. She got her deer leg. When I say I got 50 foot of rope, I'll just tell y'all the easiest way to do this. I'm 5'8", 5'7", something like that, and that's 5 foot right there. That's 10, that's 15, 20. That's the easiest way to measure rope, 25, about 30, 35 foot, counting the bridle. And that's enough just to, like I said, once it's in the water, to tie up to some snags over there, somewhere, a tree limb or something. If you are gonna put a net in and you hadn't net fished that area, don't know your sets real good, drag about, make sure there's no hangs in there, that when the current lines your net, you know, a lot of times we'll, like say the edge of this garden here is the way the tree line is and the river current's running down through there. We'll pull out, you're seeing us pull out and drop this net in. Well, that net's gonna roll right back with that current. Wherever that current's at, it's gonna roll right back in there and fish. So make sure wherever it's gonna roll, you don't have a lot of snags and things like that. And it'll save you some patching, some patchwork, save you some money, save you a lot of time. So just a few things to get started in these early videos this year on the net fishing, to kind of reiterate, and be safe, wear your life jackets, be careful out there. nets in the river. This is only a 3-day run, but we want to get on a weekend interval where we can run them on the weekend. So we're gonna run them today, see if we got anything. Only 3 days. And now we're bringing in a 3-day load of blues. That works. Bunch of blues. A couple buffalo. One tabby. It's only 3 days. Kill it. Gonna have to grab one side of this. Catfish from, look at there, big flatty. Buffalo reel. I don't know. We want to keep that little one right there. That little one's best. All right, going back in with. That's a 3-day run. 3-day run. We just come to get on a weekend rotation this evening so we could swap the 7-day weekend run on these nets. And looking pretty good so far. Try to stay on them. Dump this one. put her back in. Well, that's what we caught this evening. It's kind of a quick evening run. That was 3 days and 5 nets. Wanted to swap over onto a weekend run. We'll wait 7 days now, but pretty happy with that. That's a good run for only 3 days. But that's gonna be it for this one. Guys, country hunting and fishing, keeping it real.